Jeremy Sochan.
Ooh.
I think he has had a very interesting first 5 games of the season. I'll start with the good news. He's averaging 10, 5, and 5 through 5 games. 5 assists per game, up from 2.5 assists last season. He played really well in that second game against Phoenix. 14, 5, and 9 assists. A block, only
0
one turnover.
turnovers.
I think he only had one. I think he had 1 turnover. 0 turnovers in the previous game against the Spurs.
Okay.
But generally, I like putting young players in positions to just get better and to kind of stretch who they are as a player. The Spurs aren't concerned this season with even their record. I don't think they're concerned.
They should
with anything,
be.
but,
I picked them as the surprise team. I wish they would.
They don't care. They don't care, Al. I think that what they care about is putting the right kinds of players around Victor Wembanyama. Now, we can transition to the bad news in that it's not worked great. Outside of last night, the Spurs offense has been vastly better with Trey Jones on the floor. You should go read Pounding the Rock. They put a really good article up about this particular topic, and I've written a lot about it already. I feel like almost everything they write about is either about Victor Wembanyama or like the fit of Jeremy Sochan at point guard. But yeah, you should go read their website because they kind of lay a lot of this out. The offense has been really bad with Jeremy Sochan as the lead point guard. According to Synergy, as a pick and roll ball handler, the Spurs score 0.4 points per possession, which 96% of the pick and roll ball handlers in the NBA are better than that. So he's been real bad as a pick and roll ball handler. Trey Jones has been the player to assist Victor Wembanyama the most on the Spurs. Like, something's trending here. Maybe they should have Trey Jones out here more. But I actually, to transition back to good news, I think it's a good thing. I'm not sure that Sochan's going to ever be like a primary initiator of the offense for the Spurs. But the more experience that you can get for guys like this, to put them in positions to feel a little bit uncomfortable so they can expand their game, I think it's a good thing. He's still really young. He's only 20 years old. And I actually think that these moments are really valuable for players like him, who he processes the game at a high level. He's a very smart defender. He's a very smart offensive player and passer. Shooting has not been great. He's only made 2 threes this season. He doesn't take a lot of them, but I think that that's something that needs to develop. And he doesn't get to the free throw line much. So he's got to kind of figure out what he is as a scorer, because he can have some nice nights scoring around the hoop. But as a passer and as a facilitator, I think it's a good move to just put him in a position to just be stretched. So I'm willing to be patient with this process. And I know that Greg Popovich feels very irritated about being asked about this all the time. I mean, he's pretty prickly when it comes to being asked about Jeremy Sochan being their point guard. So I think that's great. I love prickly pop, and shout out to Jeremy Sochan and Point Sochan. I'm still in on the experience.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like he was extending the olive branch in that second game against the Suns by closing with both of those guys on the court, both Trey Jones and Jeremy Sochan, which worked amazingly, because like Sochan's defense at the end of that game was awesome, and Trey Jones played a really important role as well. Yeah, I've just been enjoying this as kind of like a flashpoint issue among the Spurs fan base, because I follow a lot of Spurs people, and they're all writing about it right now. They're all talking about it right now. And there's very strong opinions on both sides, because if you just look at the stats, like, it's obvious. Like, of course, if you were just trying to win games, you would want Trey Jones more. I saw Bruno Passos put a screenshot up of like the best 2-man units in the league right now, and
I know
Wembanyama and Trey Jones are like plus 30 something. You know, like they've been very good together, and it's been very obvious in every single stat. But I get what you're saying, that they're on a long-term developmental track right now, and especially after last night, it's looking like a maybe longer-term injury for Devin Vassell. He injured his groin last night. So that's going to set them back a little bit. So getting this, like, when else are you going to have a chance to do this? If you want to explore it, you have to explore it now.
Yeah, I mean, and also I think that long term, Trey Jones is a nice player. They're going to need to find like a long-term guard though that has a higher upside, which they could find in the draft. They could find via trade. I like Trey Jones. I think he's somebody that can be helpful. But like the truth is, like Victor Wembanyama with a competent, like steady hand point guard is going to be awesome. And if you can find somebody with a bit more upside, and Sohan can be in there as a passer and facilitator too, secondarily, I think they're set up really well for the future. So I just wouldn't sweat it if I were Spurs fans. I would kind of embrace what's in most things that are happening this year, especially with Vic.